So just like every other bored college student, I was on YouTube procrastinating, as always. And I was watching BuzzFeed videos, and one video that caught my eye was elderly people ride in self-driving cars for the first time. And I thought that was really interesting. So I watched the video and I learned a lot about Google's self-driving car. So listening to this speech will help you guys learn about self-driving cars, because I believe as college students we rely a lot on transportation. Whether it's going to school, going to work, going to different events, we need vehicles in order to get us there. And I also believe that self-driving cars are definitely the car of the future, and they will be around us before we know it. So the speech is split up into three main parts. First, I'm going to talk about Google's origins with the self-driving car project. Second, I'm going to talk about what powers a self-driving car. And third, I'm going to talk about the technology with a self-driving car. So to start off, we're going to talk about the origins of Google's self-driving car project. First, I want to start off, according to Harry Sturden, he was a professor at the University of Colorado Law. He states that self-driving cars, or fully autonomous automobiles, are vehicles that are able to be used without human input or supervision. So it's basically self-explanatory what a self-driving car is. In 2009, Google began their self-driving car project, and they paired up with Toyota and the Prius, and the car was able to navigate by itself with a person in the passenger seat with a computer, and the car had the steering wheel, so the steering wheel was moving by itself, the brakes moved by itself, but there was someone in the passenger seat. In 2015, Google created their electric car, which is right here, and it has custom sensors everywhere, and there's no steering wheel, there's no brakes, there's no gas pedal, so everything is electric. Also in 2015, that car had its first ride in Austin, Texas, and people were able to ride in it. Volunteers had good feedback about it, saying it was a smooth ride, and people enjoyed riding in it. So now that we talked about the origin of Google's self-driving car project, I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit about what powers a self-driving car. So as I mentioned previously, in the Prius, that obviously runs in gasoline, it's just a regular car. But that new Google car, it runs on electricity, and it has an electric motor, and it's basically like your cell phone. So while you're driving and you see that your battery's dying in your car, you're able to go home, put it in the garage, plug it into the wall outlet, and it charges up like a cell phone. And there's also a separate tank for your for gas, just in case your car does happen to run out of battery. It will have that extra boost of gas with it. And another energy source that they're looking into for self-driving cars is solar panels. So on the top of the car, there's going to be a solar panel, and the solar rays from the sun is able to go through the panel and transmit that energy to create, to send it to the different areas of the car. And both of those, the electric and the solar, are able to be more environmentally friendly for the environment too. Now that we finished talking about what powers a self-driving car, what energy it uses, we're going to start talking about the technology behind the car. And according to Harry Sturden and Marianne Williams, the car is made up of very complex sensors around it. So there's a sensor in the front, the sides, and the back. And it's very, there's a lot of them. And basically the sensors are able to transmit radar waves, so they're able to push through the air, and then they bounce off of the items on that, on the sides of the road. So for example, while you're driving and there's a stop sign, the sensors are able to transmit those waves, it bounces off the stop sign, and it tells the computer in the car that there's a stop sign there, so it stops. Another technological advance in the cars are the annotated digital map systems, which is basically like a GPS. So it's already programmed within the car, it's pre-built, and if you're somewhere new in the world, the car is able to remember those coordinates while you're driving. So let's say if you want to get to school, the car is driving down Chapman and it knows that it's on Chapman Avenue, and it knows that you want to turn right on this street to get to where you want to be. So comparing those two with the sensors and the maps, combining them together is part of the coordinated computer system, which is also a part of the technology. So with the coordinated computer system, it organizes the different data from the sensors and from the maps, and it makes, it's basically like the brain. So it's made up of three components, the computer system. It's to sense, to plan, and to act. So for example, if you're changing lanes, the sensors on the car are able to sense if there's a car on the side. It plans, so if the car passes, it knows that it's safe because of the sensors there. And then it plans to change the lanes once the car's done passing by, and then it acts on it by actually changing lanes there itself. In conclusion, I hope you guys learned something about self-driving cars. I talked about the origin of Google and their self-driving car project. I talked about what powers a self-driving car and what energy it uses. And I talked about the technology behind the self-driving car. So listening to this speech, I hope you guys realize that self-driving cars are definitely something that's going to be with us in the future. And before we know it, it's going to be on the roads next to us, and we're going to see people just sitting there, not behind the steering wheel. So with the BuzzFeed video, there were two elderly people, and they both had opposing opinions on it. One lady was really excited, one guy was kind of skeptical, but they both ultimately agreed that self-driving cars are definitely going to be something that's new and something that's going to help a lot of people in the future.